Could another big move be coming for your Minnesota Vikings? We're going to be talking about it on today's show, as it's being reported that the Vikings still have around $30 million to spend here in NFL free agency. What's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Siepman, and welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Now, why do the Vikings have all this money to spend? Could it be a Cooper Kupp? Could it be a Rondale Moore who is visiting with the Vikes today? Or even could it be a guy like Kirk Cousins that they're waiting on here? So we'll break it all down on today's show. But just first dive into what Alec Lewis had to say, just giving some updates on the Vikings cap hits. He has the Will Fries 2025 cap number at $5.64 million. Ryan Kelly's is at $5.61 million. And the team still has around $40 million in cap space per over the cap, but it does not include Javon Hargrave, Bolden, Thomas, or Harrison Smith's update. But it also does not include the Garrett Bradbury's potential release or trade, which we got reports yesterday that the Vikings are looking to do so. So then somebody asked Alec on Twitter saying, hey, where do the Vikings stand on their current cap space situation? He said, would bet around $30 million. And we actually do have every single contract update here coming up in just a second. Even Javon Hargrave, we got that after Alec tweeted that out earlier this morning. So we'll dive into it. We'll talk about some big moves that could be happening for the Minnesota Vikings. But before we do so, if you guys could help us reach 54,000 subscribers. We just need 54 more of you guys to hit that subscribe button. You guys have been showing all types of love this week, so I really do appreciate it. But if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Keep up to date around the latest on your Minnesota Vikings. So go down there, subscribe today. All right, let's dive into all the contract details here on today's show. So we're going to start off with Javon Hargrave. This literally just came in about 10 minutes before we started filming. But his cap hit in 2025 will be $7.91 million. And then in 2026, his cap hit will be $21.475. So in this deal, Vikings are backloading this contract, and you guys will start to see a trend here as we roll through all of these. But then also Will Fries. He signed a massive 5-year, $88 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings. But again, you notice his cap hit in 2025 is pretty low, $5.64 million, goes up to $17.22 in 2026, and then it's just $21.5 million in 27, 28, 29. So Javon Hargrave, low cap hit in 25. Will Fries, low cap hit in 25. And same with Ryan Kelly. He has a low cap hit as well at just $5.61 million. And in 2026, he has a cap hit of $12.06 million. But this is a very simple contract. This is necessarily just a one-year deal, the Ryan Kelly savings, because after the 2025 season, heading into the next football season, the Vikings can literally just cut him for zero dead money and save $12 million. So it's pretty much just like a team option, one-and-one deal for Ryan Kelly, which is a genius move by Kwesi. Honestly, the fact that they were able to get Ryan Kelly to agree to this contract is a little shocking to me. But again, the trend continues. Low cap hit in 2025. Then we kick it to Aaron Jones here. Another low cap hit for the 2025 season. $4.8 million. Now in 2026, $12.8. And then obviously void year in 2027 of $5.6 million. But Jones signed that 2-year, $20 million deal, but his cap hit extremely low. Again, another easy out after the first year of that contract. And then even Jonathan Allen, he signed a massive deal. Turns out this was only actually a 3-year, $50.5 million contract. It was previously reported it was going to be a 3 for $60, but after all the financials came out, it's just a 3 for $50. But again, low cap hit, $6.4 million in 25, 26, 21.6, and 27, $22.5 million. But then even the guy they brought back, the corner they re-signed, Byron Murphy Jr. We're starting to see this trend here. $5.6 million in 2025, and then it jumps up in 2026 and 27 to some pretty hefty cap hits. Then also they attached a void year in 28 of $7.2 million. So, why are the Vikings backloading all these deals? Now, if I wanted to kind of ruffle some feathers here, I would say, maybe they're preparing to go sign Aaron Rodgers. But again, I feel like that is extremely unlikely. Now, why are they backloading these deals? Potentially they could be trying to go make another splash in free agency, whether it's a guy like Cooper Kupp, or maybe they're trying to get another left guard potentially. They don't love Blake Brandel, but I do find it very interesting. Why are they backloading all these deals? Maybe it's for a Sauce Gardner trade. I don't really have a good answer for you guys, but, more on the Cooper Kupp thing, because I thought maybe they were backloading all these contracts to go throw Cooper Kupp maybe $10 million a year. But Diana Rossini reported this morning that the Seahawks and Cowboys are the top candidates, and also we are getting reports right now that it's looking like the Seattle Seahawks will be that team that goes out there and lands Cooper Kupp. So it's looking like the Vikes are out on the Cooper Kupp sweepstakes. But on the second half of today's show, we actually will talk about Rondale Moore as he is set to visit with the Minnesota Vikings today. But, with all this cap space left, I got $30 million to spend. Is it Joe Flacco or bust for the Vikings quarterback plan? Because I also find it very concerning. And listen, I'm a big believer in J.J. McCarthy. You guys know this. However, this is a rookie quarterback coming off a torn meniscus, has not played one real snap of football in the NFL besides that preseason game. Are the Vikings just going to kind of say F it on the backup quarterback position and just bank on J.J. McCarthy being fully healthy? I really don't think that's the plan they're going with, because considering that Kirk Cousins year when the Vikings were 5-4, Kirk tore his Achilles, very good football team, and then we just saw the team just completely implode after Kirk got hurt because they didn't have a good option at the backup quarterback. That actually forced them to go trade for Josh Dobbs, and then once he fizzled out, they went to Nick Mullins, they threw in Jaron Hall there. I couldn't see Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell just being okay with having no plan at the backup quarterback position, and the market is starting to look real thin. Because obviously top dog right now is Aaron Rodgers, and he would only come to Minnesota if it's for a starting job. But again, very, very unlikely that's the case. You still got guys like Trey Lance out there, but do you want him as your backup quarterback? Absolutely not, in my opinion. You still got Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, Case Keenum, Cooper Rush, Russell Wilson, Teddy Bridgewater, Brett Rypien. There is not a single high-end backup left here on the market. Now, I find it hard to believe that the Vikings don't have a plan. And I was just kind of looking around the NFL. Where could the Vikings go to go get that true high-end backup? Well, what about Kirk Cousins? So this Sunday, the Falcons have a decision to make. If he is on the roster on Sunday, the Falcons will have to be paying him an extra $10 million, and that's an extra $10 million on their books. And they have said they're more than okay with keeping Kirk Cousins on that football team. Now, I think that's a little bit of them trying to get somebody to trade for Kirk Cousins, take that contract off, which obviously that will not end up happening. And maybe the Falcons are waiting for this Aaron Rodgers news. So then maybe like the Giants or the Steelers could trade for Kirk. I really have no idea. But what if the Vikings are waiting for Kirk and they're saying, oh, we could go get Kirk Cousins for like a 1-year, $2 million deal, very similar to the Russell Wilson deal he signed in Pittsburgh. And then Kirk would be the best backup quarterback in the National Football League, in my opinion. So maybe they're waiting for him, but I just find it very interesting that they started backloading all these deals. They haven't signed a backup quarterback yet. I just don't know what's going on in Minnesota. What is their plan here? So we'll talk about it more in just a second, but let me ask you guys this. In terms of Kirk Cousins being the backup quarterback for the Vikings, would you bring back Kirk? Would you sign him? Give me an S for sign or give me a P for pass down below in the comment section. I'll tell you what, personally for me, I'm doing it. I think Kirk is still a hell of a quarterback in terms of a backup quarterback. Obviously, I don't think he's got any more juice in terms of a starter, but I would bring him back as a backup. But you guys let me know, would you sign Kirk Cousins? All right, we'll dive into the Rondale Moore visit here in a second, but before we do so, I got to tell you guys about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Factor Meals. Now, if you guys want to eat smart, do it with Factor and get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off and use code VikingsChat50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code VikingsChat50off at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Now, if you guys are ready to optimize your nutrition this year, Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes, so you can feel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, and it's perfect for any busy or active lifestyle. Now, here covering the Vikings throughout free agency, I don't always feel, like making a home-cooked meal every day when I get off of work, and that's where Factors came in, and it's completely changed my life. I love their Louisiana shrimp. Their teriyaki chicken is absolutely delicious. They got a number of different options that you guys will absolutely love. So get started at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off. And if you guys plug in that promo code VikingsChat50off, they will hook you guys up with 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code VikingsChat50off at factormeals.com/VikingsChat50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Got that link for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. But check them out, the number one, or my favorite sponsor here at Vikings Now. So if you guys want to show them some love, link for that in the comment section and description of today's show. All right, so the free agent news for the Vikings today is they're actually holding a visit for wide receiver Rondale Moore, who, if you guys don't know, Rondale Moore has been a Vikings killer throughout his NFL career, specifically with the Arizona Cardinals. And there's that one game I remember specifically. It was when I think the hype of Kyler was at its highest, and it was in Arizona, and I think it was Greg Joseph who missed that like 40-yard field goal at the buzzer, and Paul Allen had an electric call for that, by the way. But Rondale Moore, in 2 career games against the Vikings, 14 receptions, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, average 14.7 yards per catch. Now, this guy, he's a yak guy. You just want to get the football in his hands, and he can go make plays. But this guy was a dog at Purdue, former second-round pick. And I'll tell you what, if the Vikings do miss out on Cooper Kupp, which is looking like it, I love the idea of Rondale Moore being the wide receiver 3/4 with Jalen Nailor next season, where you would have the 2 top dogs, Jefferson and Addison, and then you would have the 2 burners on the back end, trying to beat the defense over the top with Jalen Nailor and Rondale Moore. So I am all in on this deal, and you may be saying, well, where does that leave the Vikings wide receiver room if Addison, and he probably will get suspended for at least the first 3 or 4 games this season? Well, I actually don't think it would be too bad. Like, if you had to roll out with this unit for 3 or 4 games next season, the Vikings should be able to, not have a significant drop-off in their offensive production. Like, you still got the best wide receiver in the league, Justin Jefferson, and he alone will just do enough to carry the Vikings throughout those games. But I just love the combination of Rondale Moore, Jalen Nailor, and then even a guy like Tristan Jackson working in there, who I'm a big fan of, who had a monster preseason with the Vikings last year. But Rondale Moore, he's a very intriguing player because he is a weapon with the football in his hands. And the Vikings really haven't had that gadget guy with Kevin O'Connell. Like, they've always kind of had the elite playmakers like the Jeffersons, the Addisons, but they haven't had that guy where it's like you could get the football in his hands and he could turn a 3-yard screen into an 80-yard house call just like that. So I love this idea, but if they don't go Rondale Moore, there's some more wide receiver 3 targets out there. You still got good old friends, Stephon Diggs still on the market, but even a guy like Keenan Allen I'd be a fan of. Amari Cooper I would be a big fan of. Brandon Cooks if you want that burner as well. Tyler Lockett, Allen Robinson, Deontay Johnson, Robert Woods. There's still some good names out there if you do miss out on Cooper Kupp and even Rondale Moore here. But I will say a Stephon Diggs reunion would be absolutely hilarious. Like, Diggs pretty much demanding out of the Vikings a couple of years ago. They traded him to the Bills. He had a great, stint there in Buffalo. Then he comes to the Houston Texans. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. But a Stephon Diggs reunion would be absolutely hilarious. And also, just a big 3 of Diggs, Addison, and Jefferson would be absolutely electric. I think Diggs as a wide receiver 3 would be one of the best ones in the National Football League, even though he is older, coming off that torn ACL. But, Diggs, he wasn't a big fan of Kirk Cousins and Mike Zimmer. I'll tell you what, I bet you Stephon would be a massive fan of playing under Kevin O'Connell and with J.J. McCarthy. But I'll ask you guys this. How do you feel about a Diggs reunion? Would you be open to a Stephon Diggs return? Hit me with a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comment section. I'd do it. I'd bring Diggs back. I think that would be awesome. It would be objectively hilarious as well. So if you guys want to chime in on your thoughts, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Also, you guys can hit me up on Twitter. That's a handle right there at Pat Sieps. Give me a follow over there, and I'll give you guys a follow right back. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.